Welcome to Parts of Montessori, a series where I talk about my past, present, and future experiences in Montessori. I'm Bethany, a former Montessori student and now a Montessori teacher. Parts of Montessori is part of my online business, Parts of the Language LLC, where I sell digital and printable products and services for Spanish language learning and digital and printable products for Montessori environments. The 2023-2024 school year was my 5th year teaching in my 6th year of working in a classroom because I was an assistant my first year of working at a school. This was the longest year by far, with different things within the school that went on, but inside my classroom it was one great year. So we're going to focus on that and what went well and some things I would like to change for next year, because it is important to remember that your classroom is what you are in control of and not what happens in the school besides that. A big highlight of the year was bringing back the chess club. I went to my school as a child and we would go to all sorts of chess tournaments, so I brought that back this year, and it was a fun way to spend Saturdays this year with my chess club students. They are long days at chess. We play from 8 to 5 is by the time the trophy ceremonies happen and everything, so it was an improvement throughout the school year, and for the most, it was everybody's first time at a chess tournament, but it was also the first time we had actual chess. I taught most of the students last year how to play chess during the school day, but this year we did Wednesdays in the morning before class to actually practice and learn different chess skills. And then, of course, we did our lower elementary December play, where the students write and perform a small 15-minute production for their family members, where they write, make all the props, and act in the play. This year we did a year-long project about the basic human needs throughout the time periods like the ancient Egyptians, Renaissance, Middle Ages, etc. And so the kids sort of play about time traveling through those areas and finding a missing friend, and it was a lot of fun. This year we also brought back writing class newspapers each month. It was a lot of fun. Again, there's a lot of fun this year. The students used Canva to make and design the newspapers. Some months they wrote stories. We also did poetry in April and even staff interviews. It was a great way to get the students writing. Also this year, instead of the science fair, we did a knowledge fair, which I have a whole video about that you could watch. So the students go to pick whatever topic they wanted, and then instead of making a large poster board, they made a laminated binded book about a topic and presented it to their families. You could also listen to the whole episode I have about the knowledge fair on this channel. Overall, it was a great class of students this year. We had a lot of fun times together. I keep using the adjective fun, but it was. I strive to make it fun, because not only will the kids learn more, but also they want to they know that we'll do different fun activities throughout the year, so then it gets them more motivated to do their work and everything, although intrinsic motivation is a big thing. And I will say, I worked at 2 different Montessori schools, and at this Montessori school there is so much more. The kids are intrinsically motivated to do their work, and they want to complete their work and they want to learn, and it's just so great to see. So they were still learning all the skills that they needed to learn. I started the school year with more students than I ended with, so it was definitely a bumpy year, but I pushed through, and I think this next year will be even better. At the beginning of August, I'm going to make an episode here about my goals for the next school year, but for now, I can talk a bit about what I would like to add more of. I would like to add more practical life into lower elementary. We cook and bake a lot, and we also sew our sock animals at the end of the year and practice grace and courtesy, but just more life skills for them to practice. Maybe even put it on their work plan that they could pick one practical life skill. I also have an episode about different practical life ideas you could listen to. I want to add more peace lessons. Last year, I only had first and second graders. And then this year, the second graders obviously moved up to third graders. So it was an interesting dynamic by the end of May to see the first graders and the third graders, because, the third graders, they're ready to age out, so it is what it is. But it's just, how can we work those feelings out between the students in a more where people aren't getting frustrated and annoyed and talking through things. And I know it's just the ages and everything, and the older kids are ready to move on, and the younger kids, we're just learning how to be in the class for the year. So it's an interesting dynamic. This year, a volunteer Italian teacher came in, so I didn't do much Spanish with the students. So next year I want to add a lot more Spanish into the class. I have maps, and I want them to also go through the map if they want to do the Spanish map where they just see what lesson's next and they can go and complete that. And then, so I want to add more Spanish into the class. We'll see. I will get it done. This is me manifesting. I will get all that done and ready to go. I am also going to come up with more project ideas for the third years to do, especially with cultural topics. For example, when we do the vertebrates and invertebrates, they've already done the parts of them. And I know some people like to do for the parts of the mammal, the first years will just write the name. The second years will write the name and the definition. And then the third years will write the definitions in their own words. And I can see that being practical because then they have the repetition of it for 3 years and then they're building on different skills. So how I do it is that the first graders do the parts of invertebrates or the invertebrates, whichever one we were talking about. And then the second graders complete the types of, so then they lay out the cards, which may or may not be easier than the parts of invertebrates, but it just opens up their scope. And a lot of kids say, well, I want to write a report about the type of specific, and it just has a lot more to it. And then by the third year, they can either write a report or maybe even a bigger project for that. Or I know it's to get review, and they could just review it and then say, hey, maybe there's other projects to work on. I'm trying to think of a few longer projects for the third years to work on next year because I also know that group of students and what they like. And for now, and then I'm sure they'll come back in August and have all different interests. But I'm hoping that I can take some of what they showed me last year and make it into more projects. And that's the beauty of Montessori, is having kids for multiple years and knowing what they like to do. So we'll see if I can work to my advantage and get them to do even more work with these projects. And also most students like to start projects and then try to finish them quickly, especially if I have them go on free choice. And then once they finish their whole, their work plan for the day, and usually it's about 30 minutes, they could do whatever, but I would like to think of projects they can do, but also have the projects count as a cultural for the older kids or even the younger students. But I'm hoping to incorporate more project ideas that can be worked on for a few weeks at a time, maybe 2.5 weeks. So I suppose I will see how that plays out next year. But how did your school year go? You can comment down below or message me at my email or Instagram to let me know. Thanks for listening. Of course, this episode is sponsored by my own business, Parts of the Language, LLC. Please sign up for my free Montessori hub of resources that you can use in your Montessori environments. There are over 15 plus items, including 453 printable math equation cards, 36 weeks for first and second level editing sentences, and so much more. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.